Alright, what's going on, fellas? I want to break this trade down for you guys. This is the trade that I took today on July 18th. This is a 11:04 trade, a market maker sell model of the AM session. It's a continuation of the trend. So, first of all, we need the higher time frame context. So let's go to the 4 hour and see. I'll show you guys what I was looking at before this, all happened. So this is the 4 hour low, which is the failure swing before this low. This is the low that turtle souped this low, right? So when you have a failure swing, right, before the low that got turtle souped, this is your ultimate draw on liquidity, but this is also a very high probability target of getting hidden or of getting tagged, right? But this is your utmost objective, right? This is what you should really be holding for. This is where the market is actually seeking. And if you go to the 1 day as well, you can see that this is the most exterior low. So this is where the most buy stops are going to be at, right? Or sell stops, excuse me. But just focus on failure swings before or after a turtle soup, right? In this case, this failure swing is before or after this turtle soup. So now let's get into the trade idea. So we failed to take London low here with equal highs above. So I wasn't completely, or at this point in time, now this is where I shifted bearish because we got the 50-minute CSD, which occurred right here. We closed below aggressively on the 9:30 candle. And so since we left equal lows here, and we know where our drawn liquidity is, we have Wednesday's low, which is previous day's low, and we have our failure swing, and then our ultimate 4 hour objective, right? All that is where price is drawing to in the higher time frame. So that's what we want to be trying to trade to, right? We want to be having a lower time frame risk with a higher time frame reward. So this is our change in the state of delivery line right here, and this is where I was anticipating price to come back into the equilibrium of the range, just because ES was having so much SMT. And what I mean by that is you can see here that ES, if I play price, ES is making new highs while NQ is still stuck below equilibrium. So when you have SMT between the two most correlated assets, which is ES and NQ, you want to be anticipating the weaker one to be drawing towards EQ of the range. So that's what I was looking at. And since we got this here on the 1 minute, and on the 5 minute it's the same story, but it's a little more clear here. We have a sweep of sell side failing to go below to London low, and we get this big explosive candle here. We get a 1 minute CSD, and then we get this expansion here. But notice where we are, right? We get a dip below midnight after sweeping a minor pool of sell side, failing to go below London low since ES is diverging. So that's why I was anticipating this EQ of the range and this specifically, this up close candle to be a or my drawn liquidity. If you go to the 5 minute, I really wanted to see this 5 minute FEG stay open. In my head, this should stay open just because the amount of speed and aggression we had through this area. You can see how many thick bodied down close candles we had through this area. So that's why I wanted to see this up close candle act as resistance. And on the 1 minute, that's what this is right here. So we continued to fail from here, and then we ended up actually getting this sell off all the way through London low. And so now I actually missed my fill up here. I was trying to get in at a 30-second breaker retap, never did. Should have just taken this inversion, but that's for another time. So since we still had our our major 4-hour low down here that still needed to be taken, and we obviously are still in a sell program, in a very heavy sell program. You can see on the 1 minute chart the amount of down close candles there are all the way down, right? That's how you know we're either in a hurry to deliver or in a obvious sell program, right? And even on the 5 minutes, super clean. So after all this occurred, what was I anticipating? Once again, ES was stronger here, and after we had our 4-hour first, this was the failure swing below the major 4-hour low. This is where I was expecting some kind of reaction from. So I was waiting to see if price was going to return to this new range, to the equilibrium, and it did. And you can see what we have waiting for us. We have this bearish breaker here. Make that red and bigger. And this is very important. This is something for you guys to backtest and put in your notes. This is the London low, and you can see with everything else, and we have our higher time frame narrative, all the other PD arrays that we're anticipating to hold price, we also have a timed range low at a key point in price, right? So this is real resistance, this is real support, right? In this case, it's acting as resistance. So this just gave me extra confluence in my trade. So no, was I just shorting the 5 minute breaker? That would have been the good idea, but I wasn't completely sure if price was going to bounce here or not. So I wanted to try and get a 1 minute entry. That's normally how I like to enter my trades, and it just offers the lowest amount of risk in my opinion. So I wanted to see this fair value gap get inversed. Obviously nothing occurred yet, but once I saw this fair value gap up here reject price, which it does right here, we got these two candles here, and we closed below this last up close candle. And I also have all my other factors, right? This is that 5 minute breaker, this is the 5 minute London low, or just London low. You can see we're at EQ the range still. And what do we have? We have a minor pool of sell side liquidity. I'm going to delete this black line. That was our old 4-hour failure swing. We have our minor pool of sell side liquidity, and we still have our major 4-hour low. So all I was waiting for now, I was looking at this 30-second propulsion block and fair value gap, and I was just looking at this inversion as well. So all I did was put my fill price at the low of this inversion. So I got filled right here at 90.25. I got filled at 90.25. Stop loss was at this this candle's high. I didn't want to see that get broken. And so this is the only part where I messed up. I took all my contracts off at 25 points, which was pretty much the low of this fair value gap here. And I shouldn't have. I wasn't too sure if price was going to deliver smoothly or not, and that was completely on me. Having the higher time frame narrative behind me and having really nothing to support inside of here. If you go to the 5 minute, you can see there's really nothing inside of here other than this FEG, and we know that this retracement up is just a fake move higher. So for some reason I thought this breaker was going to give us a little bit of a tougher time, but it never really swept anything major, right? And we still had our ultimate draw on liquidity. So this should have been my ultimate draw. Also, ES had some stacked lows as well. You can see right here we had some stacked lows, and if you look at the 4-hour on the ES, the same thing kind of occurred. We had all of these stacked lows down here, which were acting as the higher time frame dull. So I got my take profit hit in 2 minutes, which was right here on this candle, but I left a lot of money on the table, which is the least of my worries as of right now. I'm just worried about controlling myself and being as patient as possible and as impulse free as possible, right? So you could see I scaled here at 25, but in hindsight, it looks pretty bad. The first real scale should have been when ES took out its low of day, which I've already went over this for myself, but It was right here at 11:10, which also coincidentally has to be at the end of the macro timing. Also, the reason why I had a lot of confidence in this trade, we were also inside of that 1050 to 1110 macro, so that helps the confluence as well as obviously the narrative, the higher time frame, drawn liquidity, and everything I just outlined for you guys up here. So first take profit should have been up here at like 70 handles, and then of course the minor sell side liquidity, and if you left a runner, could have easily held for this 4-hour low. And I took 10 micros. I didn't scale any. I just took out all 5 at 25, but you can see how much money I left on the table today. And I'll continue to play price, and you can see how fast it actually delivered. I'm happy that it delivered, and I'm happy it delivered smoothly, but unfortunately I wasn't a part of this one. But like I said, least amount of my worries. But this trade was absolutely beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one.